Hey everybody, we're back in my kitchen today and my sous chef Aiden is back to give me a hand. He's going to do some chopping for me later. So what I've got today is a really nice, fresh, summery, spring kind of recipe. It's a grilled steak with a board dressing. So I'll get into that in a minute because the first thing I'm going to do is season my steaks. I found these what's up, bud?
I have a question.
Sure.
How can I cut mustard when it's not thick like these other herbs?
Well, you're not going to have to cut the mustard today, bud. We're just going to cut up some herbs, okay?
Okay.
So, I got my coarse salt, getting the steaks nicely seasoned. Found these really nice looking ribeyes at the store. In this recipe, traditionally we call for strips, but it's very interchangeable. I love some ribeyes. Get these good and seasoned. And then actually, while I'm doing this, bud, what you can do is start on the board dressing. So here we've got some parsley. It's roughly chopped just to kind of pack it down. Okay? And then here we've got some sage, rosemary, and thyme. This I buy the blend herbs. That way I kind of get everything I need all at once and I don't have 3 packages around. And then actually what I've done here is I've taken some leftovers and tied them up in a bundle, and I'll just use this to brush the steaks with a little bit of butter. And finally we've got our shallots and garlic. Now this is going to be the board dressing that kind of the steaks rest on. It gives a whole bunch of flavor. So Aiden's going to keep mincing that stuff up. Remember to keep your fingers nice and up so you don't chop a tip off there. So I'll flip these, finish seasoning these, get them out of the way. Basically what we're doing is we're making this really flavorful herb mixture that we're later going to be resting the steaks on, and then we'll take that and scrape it into a bowl and make almost like somewhere between a vinaigrette and a chimichurri for these steaks. How's that coming along, bud? Getting pretty chopped up? It's looking good. All right. So now I will set these guys aside for a minute and start on the kind of vinaigrette base. So here we've got some Dijon, and I will go in with some soy and a little bit of balsamic vinegar for my acidity. Okay. Now Aiden, I'm going to give this a quick whisk. Now if you can kind of keep whisking for me, just about like that, I'm going to start drizzling in some olive oil, okay? So this is going to help make the emulsification. Like I said, this is basically like a vinaigrette base. All right, keep whisking for me. There we go. I'm just going to drizzle a little olive oil, a little faster. Okay. So again, we're making like a vinaigrette, and then this is what we're going to scrape all these herbs into. All right, perfect. Now, the last thing I'll do, give that a little more whisk. Okay. The last thing I will do is kind of spread these herbs out a little bit, because this is where we will rest our steaks, and we'll go on. We're just trying to build flavor. So a little salt, a little pepper.
I just organized them.
It's all right, bud. We want this one to be a little messy. And then just a drizzle of olive oil on here. So now we'll go out to the grill. We'll get the steaks on the grill, and then we'll come back to the rest of this. I've got my grill preheated. I built my 2-zone fire, especially important for ribeyes because they do tend to cause a little bit more flare-ups. So I've got the majority of my coals here and pretty much empty over here. That way if I get flare-ups or I just want to finish cooking them through, I can move them off the direct heat. But now that the grates are hot and clean, I'm going to put the ribeyes on. And then throughout the cooking process, I'll use this herb brush that I have. And this is just some compound butter, but you could use any melted butter or even olive oil just to give them a little base. Might as well introduce more flavor while you can. I've cooked these for a few minutes on each side, and they've got a good crust to them, basted with my compound butter, but they're still not quite cooked through, so it's time to take them off the direct heat. Definitely get a little smoky in there. So we'll get these off to the side. And then the best thing about this herb brush is that I just tied it with butcher's twine and it's herbs. So I'll just take that, throw it right on the fire, and then close the lid. Not only will it help to cook these through, but then you kind of get the aroma of all those herbs in there as well. So I'll let these finish up and then we'll come back. I've let these cook for a little while with the lid on. Now I'm going to give them a temperature check. And looking at just a little under 125, which is perfect for me. We'll rest these right on top of those herbs, and then those herbs will kind of flavor the steak will flavor the herbs, and then we'll slice them right there as well. I've allowed these steaks to rest right on top of that bed of herbs from earlier. Now I'll slice them up and we're going to serve them family style, and then make the sauce out of all of these herbs the steaks have been resting on. Now I'll take all this good stuff here, scrape it right into the salad dressing from earlier with a vinaigrette base. All right, now Aiden, you want to give that a little bit of a stir for me?
Okay, let's get coffee.
All right, just stir everything in to incorporate, and then you can just sauce all over this steak here, all right?
Okay.
All over the steak. And the great thing is, because it's kind of like a vinaigrette.
Really get saucy.
Yeah. You can use it on the greens too. It's basically a salad dressing that you're kind of infusing all the flavors with. So it makes just for a really nice sauce, salad dressing. It's a great meal all in one. Okay. And there you have it. A really fresh way to accent a deliciously grilled steak. So join us next time. Aiden?
We'll be moving on to a next recipe.